with the introduction of the new patch. They also introduced 2 new relic sets. Should you farm for these sets? If so, for whom should you get these sets for? Let's go into the details of each set and who they are best for. The first set is Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters. The 2-piece set increases damage dealt to enemies that has debuffs on them. The 4-piece set gives crit stats to your character. And if your character is the one that inflicts the debuff, these stats would double for 1 turn. Now, who then can best utilize this set? The first person to come to mind would be Dr. Ratio. This is the best in slot for him, due to him getting crit stats, damage buffs and follow-up attacks when enemies have debuffs on them. He can make use to the characteristics of the set the best at the moment. On top of that, he can land his own debuff, which fits with the last line of the set, giving him even more crit stats. Well, that's just one character. Who else can utilize this set? If we look closely at the set characteristics, this is a DPS set with it giving damage buffs and crit stats. However, it centers around debuffs. When you look at it that way, one group of characters pops up. That's right, the Nihility Path characters. However, not the dot characters, as they cannot effectively use the crit stats that you get from landing debuffs, due to dots not being able to crit. We are looking at specifically these 3 characters: Silver Wolf, Pella, Welt. The problem with these characters is that they tend to be more support characters rather than DPS characters. The closest amongst the 3 to being a DPS would probably be Welt, followed by Silver Wolf, then Pella. However, with this set you could build them as a sub-DPS character in a dual DPS team comp, just that they probably require other stats as well, such as effect hit rate or break effect, to fit in crit stats on top of them can be rather daunting task. However, Welt and Silver Wolf have been seen to be played as DPS characters, and this set will definitely improve their damage capabilities. So this set gives an alternative way to build these characters. Pella, on the other hand, is a 4-star character. Her damage multipliers are rather low compared to Welt or Silver Wolf. This set can definitely up her personal damage to contribute to the overall team damage, but she definitely is not main DPS material. Now that's it for the characters that's already available. However, this could also potentially be best in slot for another character. That will be arriving into point 1. That is, of course, Akaran. While we don't know much of her kit, that is if you don't look at the leaks or dream talk or whatever you want to call that shit, what we do officially know is that she is the same as Kafka. She is a lightning nihility character. And since Kafka is already a dot character, it doesn't make sense for Akaran to be the same as well. That would mean that she would be a nihility DPS. That is not a dot character. Since she is still a nihility character, she would have some way to still land a debuff. She would then function similar with Dr. Ratio, with her own unique mechanic than the rest of the nihility characters. Similar in the sense that she is primarily DPS, not a dot. Neither a support debuffer. She would in some way have her damage tremendously increase through her debuff that she would inflict in her own unique way. In the other multiverses where her other copies exist, they are DPS characters, so I'm looking forward to what the Honkai Star Rail version will bring. If you guys are like me, even though I already have Kafka, I will still be definitely pulling on Akaran's banner, so I have started farming this set for when she arrives. I'm already farming this set for my Dr. Ratio, so along the way I will be looking for another set for my Akaran, though it is more likely that I would use the best pieces that I have for her, and my Dr. Ratio will just fall back to the original set that I have for him right now, as it is already a decent functioning set. Before moving on to the next set, there is actually one more character I want to talk about for this set, Guifen. Initially I didn't include her in, simply because she was a dot character that provides a debuff called Firekiss, which increases damage received by the enemy that has this debuff. However, on second thoughts this might be a viable set for her. She actually inflicts burn type dot. Amongst the different dot types it actually has the lowest damage, so she might benefit from a crit build and perform a sub-DPS role, while buffing the team damage by landing Firekiss on the enemy. While burn has the lowest dot damage, it actually has good break damage, other than a sub-DPS build. She actually does well with a break effect build. Actually, I have on a break effect build which she shares the gear with Asta. So other than this set which focus around debuffs, this next set we are going to talk about might also fit Guifen. The next set is the Watchmaker set. It revolves around break effect. Actually, we already have another break effect set, which is the Thief set. Their differences lie in their 4-piece effect. So to speak on the Watchmaker set, we also need to speak on the Thief set, and see which is actually more fitting for the characters that would use these sets, which we will get into. So the critical difference would be is, if the character wearing these sets, are they applying the weakness breaks themselves? If they are, the Thief set might be more suitable. If they are not, the Watchmaker set might be more suitable. Let's go into details as we speak about the characters that would potentially benefit from these sets. So we spoke about Guifen earlier, because of her debuff and the fact that fire break damage actually is quite good. A break effect build with a break effect set would better for her than trying to build damage of her from her dot. Because fire break effect damage is good, you would want to have her doing the actually breaking of the toughness bar. So between the Watchmaker set and the Thief set, the Thief set might be better for her to give her more energy to make her ultimate faster. Another thing to consider is that for the Watchmaker set only one person if your team can have the 4-piece set equipped, as the 4-piece effect cannot stack. So if you have Guifen as a sub DPS, chances are you will have a harmony character like Ruan made to support the team. If both characters have the Watchmaker set on, one of the 4-piece effects will be lost. So for Guifen, I would prefer to have the Thief set on her. With that said, since we brought up Ruan Mei, let's go into details regarding Ruan Mei's use of these two sets. Ruan Mei's buff scales of break effect, so both sets are good for her. I'm currently using the Thief set for her. However, I will be farming the Watchmaker set for her. Why? She is kind of opposite to Guifen. Ruan Mei doesn't do damage through her skill and ultimate, so the chances of her actually breaking the toughness bar to inflict a weakness break herself is quite low. As such, the second effect from the 4-piece Thief set that gives energy would be lost on Ruan Mei most of the time. Even though I would lose 16% break effect switching sets, the 4-piece effect on the Watchmaker would make up for it every time Ruan Mei does her ultimate. For the team-wide 30% break effect buff, which goes hand in hand with her being the best harmony support character. For me, I feel that this is the best set that you can give to her. Who else can make us of this set then? Asta is another good choice, especially since day 1 break effect build has always been viable for Asta. Again, the thing to consider is not having more than one character, having the 4-piece set in the team. If you don't have Ruan Mei and you are running the dot team, Asta is a good harmony character for dot teams as she gives speed and attack buffs, which dot teams needs the most. Break effect is also a good stat on a dot team, so having Asta with a Watchmaker set will benefit the team to increase the entire team damage through another damage source. However, another thing to note is that Asta deals damage through her skill, so the Thief set would also be good for her, in that the same way as Guifen. For myself, Asta can use either, which is different from Guifen or Ruan Mei, who would lean to the Thief set or Watchmaker set respectively. Another person that will benefit from this would be Silver Wolf. Break effect Silver Wolf has always been acknowledged to be very strong, because quantum break effect is one of the best. Also because Silver Wolf's skill and ultimate lowers a lot of the toughness bar. In conclusion, should you farm for these relic sets? Personally, I would say to farm if you are going to main either Dr. Ratio or Akaran, and maybe also if you use Ruan Mei heavily. If you actually own her and don't use her heavily, there is something seriously wrong. So yes, farm specially for those 3 characters. If not, you can skip until more characters comes out that can take advantage of these sets as well as these 3 characters, as the other characters that have been mentioned at this video. They can actually do just as well with other sets, so it's not really a necessity for them. That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe. See you in the next video.